I'm out here in our camper. We have a camper that has the bunkhouse in the back. I'll show that in just a minute. We just got back from escaping Hurricane Irma, and it was a decent enough trip. There were some things since we were gone for a week that we noticed that we probably could do better in ways to improve our RV, so that it's more convenient and more comfortable for everybody. So in any case, let me explain what we're going to do here. If you notice, we've already got these ladders in place. They do still need to be painted or stained or whatever, but they're in place and the kids use them to get into the top bunk, one on either side. But over here, what we have found is that the middle, or we only have 4 bunks back here. We have 5 children, and what the problem seems to be is that Aileen, our youngest one, sleeps in the kitchen right here on the floor, right below the refrigerator. And the way she sleeps, she rolls a lot, so she'll end up actually on the floor off her mattress, and it kind of impedes our path, the adults in the camper, that is, to the restroom in the middle of the night, because we don't want to wake her up. So we sleep here on our queen size bed in there. There's the mattress that she sleeps on. And so if she's taking up that part of the floor, then we have a problem getting to the restroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to alleviate that problem, because really, truthfully, she was supposed to sleep here on our fold-down couch, which is perfect size for her right now, but she does not, because what will end up happening is in the middle of the night we'll hear a big thunk, because she would have rolled off of the couch / bed onto the hard floor, waking us up and scaring the daylights out of her. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back here into the bunkhouse, and we are going to remove the middle, or I should say the lower driver's side bunk all the way down to the floor. Therefore, she can't slide off and bump her head. And raise that bunk up just a little bit, just a few inches, to give an even space, about the same space that the top bunk has from ceiling to the top of the bunk. Will be the same space that the middle bunk has between the bottom of the top bunk to the top of the middle bunk, and then from the floor up to the bottom of the middle bunk, it will be the same spacing as the top bunk. So that's what the plan is. I'm hoping it's going to work out, because if it doesn't, she'll have to sleep right here, and it will be very, very inconvenient for her to do so. Because sometimes we have, our dinette set converted back down to a bed, and a couple of our older children come and sleep here when we're on trip. So that makes it very, very inconvenient if she's rolled off the bed for them to slide out of bed too and use the restroom, or I should say the facilities, in the middle of the night. And we used to have her sleep right here when she was smaller. But there again, the problem, well, actually she slept in, when she was smaller, she actually slept in one of the wider bunks on this side, on the passenger side of the camper. And then she moved to the floor, and then what ended up happening, she kept on getting stepped on. And that wasn't good either. So we're trying to protect her, and trying to make everything more better for everybody that's in the camper. So wish us luck. Hopefully I'll get a chance to film everything, or I should say record everything, using old school language there, and you can see our progress. Alright, so now I'm back. There's my lovely wife. She's done broke down a bunch of the stuff that were to get everything out of the way and set up a series of fans. Oh, not one behind me, yes there is. A series of fans so we can try to stay cool on this rather hot and humid Florida afternoon.
Go get my drill now.
Okay.
Take this ladder out.
I don't think we have it drilled in. So we're going to be...
No, we have it drilled into these little blocks here.
Oh, I got you. Right, I remember that.
I don't know that...
I think you just...
I can probably lift it.
I think you just lift it up. What you got to do is you got right over there underneath that lip of the...
So I'm going to have to remove this.
You have to push that forward, yeah.
Okay. Alright, so let me clean off the top.
So let me set this camera down. Alright. And the ladder apparatus. We made this thing extremely easy to remove without screwing anything into it. So take it outside, or
probably be best just because we don't want to be stepping around it and being all in our way.
camera out here and show you what my beautiful wife's doing back in here. Okay, so as you can see, we got down to the frame of the bunk, and what we're going to do is unscrew this. We're going to keep the frame, unscrew this from the wall and lift it up, and I doubt you can see these marks. The light does help. You see those two marks on the cabinet? Those two marks are what we're going to move the rail part up for the frame. Remove this piece right here and move that up a few inches to allow for some headspace down in what used to be our cargo hold. So, and of course that cargo hold has to be cleaned out.
So that's what I was going to do next.
I was finding you guys.
Hey, buddy.
What are you guys doing here?
We're taking out this bunk bed here, this one, and we're going to make 3 of them. So you can have a bed, AJ can have a bed, and then AZ can have a bed. Are you ready to go get in the pool?
Oh, I gotta go after this.
Yeah. Or, I mean,
Okay.
unless, Bradley, you want to let him hang out here with us. I mean, it's going to be
It's going to be
hot.
hot out here. You have more fun in the pool. That's our
Yes.
son Alexander. Anyway, this is the first snafu. We run into a problem. This is going to happen. Of course, anybody who's worked on an RV or any kind of home improvement project knows it's going to happen anyway. I say what we do. We try to.
If I had to, I will get the reciprocal saw. And
I know. I'm hoping not to result in that, but
I know that, but you know what? It may take us 10 times less time to rebuild it than it is to try to tear it out. Just in case you're wondering.
you got such a destructive nature. That Anyway, so I'm gonna go
Demolition
ahead.
is in my soul, baby.
We're gonna come back to this, and hopefully we'll get this wall out. Right now we're prying it open. Any kind of new change, we'll let you know. All right, so my wife has done it again. Just come out here and exactly how we wanted. You see how those things are put together. So if you're working on these bunk beds, you know, they do the staples differently than I anticipated them having them done. But I've never built one of these, so this is the first time I've ever worked on one. We kind of expected some differences, and some issues, but we're working right along. She's still prying this up. Doing a mighty fine job. Sorry, babe, I got your butt in the camera. I can edit that out, but I'm not.
It's new for you, girl.
So what we have is we've got a screw coming through the cabinet here into the bed frame. With the head stripped, we have this right here. We dug out of the shed. Those tools might help us get that screw out.
Wow, that's all I have to say. That screw's in there really, really, really tight.
Yeah, it's just in there. Yeah, she's just about got it. That was a booger. Still is, kind of. But unfortunately, we had a piece of wood up there kind of split in half on us in order for us to get to that point. And we pushed forward, just got the screw out, sacrificing that piece of wood, and we unfortunately scuffed the side of the cabinet, but that's okay. That's easily repairable. I'm not too worried about that. And then of course this little guy right there, that's my son Aiden. We call him AJ. He's in a bit of trouble. While we were out here working, he decided he was going to get into Mama's sewing stuff that he shouldn't have been in.
He's just trying to help.
Just trying to help, yep. I'm sure he was trying to sew something. Now here comes the daunting task of trying to get this thing out, which is probably going to have to require working against that back wall a little bit. And we may have to take that crowbar or something,
Mommy, you can
and get underneath it
down.
and pry it loose when we can have it at an angle. Alright, so this is what we got so far. We had to take a little break. Ooh, it got really hot in here, but that back runner we could not get off. It's got screws, I think, coming in from the outside, and we're just not able to get it off. So we kind of re-engineered our bunk solution, and that little knee wall, the brown knee wall right there, is going to be was over here on this side, on the front side. All we did was just flip it around, and we're going to pop it underneath there, just basically for a decorative look. Then we're going to do something over top of that to hold the back side of that bunk up. And so we just have to go to the hardware store and get some of the get some material. And we're back. We got this board cut down to size. It fits in there really good. 73 and 7/8 inches, and we're going to crank jig it down to this little wall that we have. Just try to push that in back a little bit further, because you see how we got the it's like, you see this one come out?
Yeah, I was trying to do that. Thought I had it, you see, I got it pushed in right there.
It'll be covered up, so that little lip. Just wish it was a clamp. We could have gone through that window to pop that screen out, but that's going in there famously. But then we're going to stack another 2x4. I really didn't want to use 2x4s. Thought maybe it would be a little too heavy, but not a big deal. And we're going to stack another 2x4. It covers up some of the window, but we're going to do a little cutout around the electrical outlet right there. And that's done. Next board will go over top of that, Craig's jig down. We're trying not to punch any holes in the wall or anything like that, so if we ever want to put the cargo hold back in this area, it can be done easy enough. Okay, I only got about a minute of record time here in storage, but this is what we got so far. We you see we notched around the electrical outlet right there, and we got the bunk in there. Like I said, there's going to be some cushions underneath there for the third bunk that's going to be on the floor. Unfortunately, it's going to be on the floor, but that's really where Aileen likes to sleep anyway. Anyway, we're fixing to finish this up, and or at least the framework right here, and get it level. I got the level somewhere, and so we're going to put some screws in it. Sorry for the short little cut, but like I said, I'm down to very minimal storage. Alright, so we got everything done here. My wife is modeling for us right here. So you can lay down in it underneath there. You can see we got the opened now what used to be the cargo hold, and she's laying in the bunk, all nice and comfy like. And underneath here, there we go.
I can put the other one down.
So we got 0 minutes in record time, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut this thing off. But we're done pretty much. We got some touch-up work, and I'll let you know when we're finished. Alright, so it's been a couple days since we worked on the bunk bed here. Largely part because we had a dryer that went out, and we had to repair that dryer. But this is where we left off. We got the bunk in. This corner right here is not supported the way we would like. It's supported, but it really needs to be shored up. And we're going to use the ladder that we have. Well, like on this other side, it's kind of hard to tell because I'm real close in. But we're going to use the ladder to support it also. We're also going to make sure we support it with a board going probably up and down in that corner. It'll be kind of hidden behind the ladder, so you won't really see it. But what we got left is, I mean, if we wanted to take off right now, because or tropical storm Nate is headed our way, we could actually take off, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But what we have left is underneath here. I don't know if you can see that. We got to put some decorative board up to protect the bottom of that from our kids abusing it. And then right across where those 2x4s are, we have to put a board across that to protect it, and then, you know, a strip.
Nice.
We're just gonna, you know, make it look nice as we can get it. You gotta cover up that blemish right there and all that, and then actually do the cushions for down below. But other than that, you know, I think we're pretty set. This thing keeps going in and out of focus. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to get it finished, and then we're going to have to do some.
Do you want them to come back and do the bricks?
Being interrupted here.
I'll see.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to, you know, like I said, sure up that ladder, and once we do that, you know, we just got a little bit of ladder work, put it back in place, and we're going to be done. One thing that some people may be watching this and having a little concern is structural integrity, and I'm going to do a little clip later on, and I'll talk about that a little bit. So keep watching.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Let's see if this is going to work.
Right. So we got the old air compressor in here, and we're going to be stapling up. We used some clamps there to clamp on that bottom piece of wood. It's taken us a little bit because we got involved in some other projects while the paint dried on the board up underneath here. We painted it a beige color, so it kind of matches, you know, the core, and won't be too off-putting when you see it. We might have to get you a flashlight, alright.
Yeah, and nails. So it was right.
I tell you, all you gotta do is just trust me a little bit. You laugh. I see how you roll your eyes at me sometimes. No, not sometimes, like all the time. But I forgive you. I forgive you.
Do you now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because I'm in love. I'm not gonna say that you're not in love. I'm just saying that.
I love you. You are so rotten.
I kind of like watching you do these projects. It's A-okay in my book. Look at you. You're like a pro. See if this thing fits. Now we had to recut this piece of wood because it didn't fit quite right.
Perfect.
But it looks like it's going in there perfect this time. You know, that's why sometimes you got to cut and then dry fit, but you got to slide it down in this corner because the corner is
yeah.
There you go. And I know we're going to cover all that stuff up with some molding and all that, but
yeah, all of this is going to be covered up with a little bit.
Oh.
Okay. Now,
you don't have to worry about lining anything up, babe.
well,
It's all wood back there.
that's true. That's true.
You know, instead of putting, cutting down that 2x4 and building like a frame work over there. We just laid out 2x4s, even though it's slightly heavier. It's just the weight difference is not that big of a deal. So we just put solid wood so you can staple anywhere you want. See, one thing, it sure is looking good. Alright. So, I'm getting the trim stuck up there. The little nail gun. I just got finished stapling down the top side of the bunk. And
Daddy, Amy eat food.
I'm sure she did.
It smells like Amy.
You
You smell it on her?
You smell it on it. You make me laugh. Who is that? Is that Aileen?
Me.
Aileen! AJ says I need to smell you.
Smelling in your pants.
Smelling Aileen.
Smell in your school butts.
I don't know anything about a school bus, but you're gonna have to. There, I guess it's good.
Bunkhouse. It's a mini.
Okay, you don't have any clothes on again. What is this? Run around all day in your underwear?
Yep.
Man, the luxuries in life.
What?
It sounds like one of my moves.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Oh yeah, we were supposed to cut that piece down, wasn't we?
What piece?
That piece
No,
of it.
no, AJ, that flashlight was there for a reason. Mom needs light down here. Okay?
Okay.
If you're not asked to do anything, don't do it.
Yep.
Although I appreciate the initiative.
I mean, because
Oh, yeah.
to cover up the,
Alright,
the
well, let me get a little
things.
razor knife, and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, that or, yeah, just a razor knife. And there's one behind you. That'll work.
Alright, so let me...
Oh, over there. Over there.
Here, you're going to have to get that open. Alright. So, no, that didn't come down from the bottom, baby. That came over top. Thank goodness. At least it better of.
Yeah.
Because instead of smelling Aileen, we're gonna be smelling you.
No, I sweat today.
You're sweating. Well, I'm sweating too. It's pouring down. It's really pouring down my face.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Watch it.
Mhm. Actually, you did cut one loose, didn't you? God almighty, son. The things family do to each other, I tell you. You've been eating cream corn?
No.
Collard green?
No. Bean.
You've been eating beans, Daddy.
Bean.
You better go check your britches. That smelled like it was fresh off the grinds.
It's not. I don't put on me. It's tea.
There, let's see that.
You know, Aileen ain't the only one that's been eating food. I could tell.
I sit. I hold and make you
Does that work, babe?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the last piece. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Last piece? Yeah. That we're putting on. If you could remove... You haven't started stapling it, has you? Or nailing it, have you?
I'm not going to be able to remove it. It's a very tight fit.
Okay. Well, anyway, this corner piece, can you point to it? My lovely assistant right there. That corner piece. It looks like it should have been there the entire time,
I'm gonna pull that.
but that's something that we're adding. Hey, AJ, son.
Step back a little bit. Daddy's coming.
Look at he's photo bombing my video here. Well, anyway, so what we do is we put that there. Not only does it cover up that blemish that we had right there on the corner, but also it we know that when Aileen gets in and out of her bunk, that what she's going to do, she's going to grab hold of the side of that cabinet and keep pulling, and that just protects the corner right there. And I think it's a good idea. I want to do it to all of the bunks right there, just to shore up these corners, because you know these cabinets, they're built cheap, and you know they can really get worn out when people use them for handrails. So that's why we did that. We put this corner piece on there to just shore it up, and it looks really, really spectacular. The only thing you can see that right there in that corner. That's the only issue. We're going to hit it with some stain, and you'll never notice it. So anyway, let's go ahead and nail it up, and let's get it done. This is our last piece. That's it. Hold the light good now.
You probably
I mean, I tell you, a good light holder, worth their weight in gold. I tell you. I mean, he's doing an okay job. There's a lot of shadowing going on, but
There we go.
all right.
Coming off.
All right,
Yay.
AJ. Thanks for the help.
Thank you.
Thank you for the help. So stand by for a little bit. Once we get some of this stuff cleaned up and made the bunk all together and all that, we'll go over kind of brief review of what we did, and you know, I'll talk about the structural integrity and how I don't think we jeopardized it at all. So we'll be right back.
That's the right foot.
All right, so I'm laying down here in what used to be our cargo hold. You can see my feet, and you know, this is how I presume that Aileen's going to be sleeping in here. Head up in this direction, looking this way, you know, and you go ahead and turn that light off. And really, truthfully, you know, even though I thought it was going to be, you know, it is dark in here, but there is really a lot of light. Now it is still during the day, but if we were to if we had all the blinds down, and all the lights on, there is a considerable amount of light that comes down in here, you know, and my plan is that in here we're going to have maybe a pop-up light or something, but you got to understand that this is for her to sleep in, not really to play in, and if we put a pop-up light in here, she will not leave it alone, and she'll be up all night, and that does present a problem. But anyway, I'm down here. It's not bad. You know, it looks really, really good, and it'll fit her. It'll fit her fine. You know, and it's you know, it's not. I think my wife did an excellent job. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and crawl out of here. For a big guy like me, it's a little difficult to get out from the ladder and the side of the cabinet here, but
I'm gonna take the boat.
I think this will work for you know, at least you know 4 years, 5 years. You know, that'll put her at about 11, and maybe even beyond that. You know, I don't know how long we're going to have this camper. We really like it, and so we just modified it, and the way we did it, it's easy enough to convert it back to a cargo hold. So I think up next I'm going to go ahead and talk about the structural integrity and kind of highlight some of the things we did to complete this job. So I'll talk at you in just a few minutes. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was that, you know, talk about some of the difficulties we had doing this project. We take this cargo hold right here out. Right behind here is just a wall, and we put a bed, actually a bunk bed down here for our littlest one and moved this bunk that was about this high up just a few inches up here. Now all this right here is, you can see it through the window. You're not going to be able to see that in a little bit. We're gonna cover all that up. So we do have still a little bit more to do. But for all intents and purposes, the project's done. So what we did was we ran into a problem with, I'm going to call it a stringer, but it was the 2x2 that went across here to form the backside of the bed frame. And that 2x4, we pried it out a little bit. We don't want to get rough with it because we didn't want to tear up the walls or anything. But what we found is that probably right through here and right through here, and maybe even down a little bit further, there were screws coming in from the outside of the camper wall into that bed, so it made it difficult. Now what we could have done was we could have cut that 2x2 down and sliced it and yanked out what was stapled in, and then unscrewed those little short pieces of wood that we would have had on it, and got it off the screws, and then grinded down the screws. But we didn't want to violate the structural integrity, and I'll tell you the reason why. As you're going down the road, there's a lot of pressure put on the way this camper moves. It sways, it moves. It's like an earthquake going on in here. And I think the bunks, I don't know this for sure, and this is the reason why I'm telling you this, is kind of know your camper before you start doing it. And this is the difficulty we had, because we didn't understand how this was built. But with having the screws coming in from the outside, it's possible that this bottom bunk actually had something to do with the way the camper swayed and reduced that sway back here. I don't think we violated it, because I think the top bunk is actually what holds that structural integrity the most, but this bottom bunk probably plays a role. And this is how we didn't violate that the structural integrity. I may have to actually take over the camera to show some of this, but this right here is going. I'm going to have to ask you to back up, AJ, just a little bit. Thank you. So the top bunk is fastened into this cabinet and into this wall, and I think that really helps the top part not sway and all that. And I honestly, let me just be frank. I may be talking out of my ass. It may not have anything to do with structural integrity at all. It just seems like it does because of the way it was built in here. Now the bottom bunk, if you can come down here, let me go ahead and take the camera from you. Now the bottom bunk actually had a screw hole right there, and what that is there was a piece of wood. There's a piece of wood that goes right behind. It's getting out of focus. Right behind that wall right there, and that's where the bunk actually was, and nothing above it. So this bunk. So this bunk is not screwed into this wall except for in this corner right here. So we did get one screw, so it kind of helped out. Now we felt like it was the weakest part of the build, and so we didn't want to put any pressure on it. So what we did was we put this board on the ladder, and this board is holding up this end, so the ladder stays to the floor and holds this end up. So it really is structurally sound. Along the back, you've probably seen this in the. It's all covered up now, but we had two 2x4s. We could have done, made some little studs and so forth and so on to lighten up the weight. But I mean, it was two 2x4s, and all that work that would have been cutting it back. It seemed like a waste of time for just a pound or two. But the 2x2 right above the brown part of this wall, that's where that 2x2 was. We couldn't remove, and we stacked the 2x4s on top of that and screwed them down into the thing. And into the 2x2, and then the top 2x4 into the next 2x4. And then we attach that 2x4, the last 2x4 is actually part of the bed frame. So the bed frame is still as if it was down here. It's just raised up a little bit using the 2x2 that's already part of the wall that we couldn't remove. And then we were lucky enough that I'm going to call it a knee wall. That little knee wall that's brown actually went right behind the cabinet here, all the way to the cabinet, all the way to the wall, and we were able to just take that and slide it back underneath the that 2x2, and that actually has studs. You know, they're little 1x, but they're studs going all the way to the floor. So all that is supported all the way around, and then this had only one screw in it, and if you watch the video, you'll see how much trouble we had getting that one screw out. All the way back in the corner, back in the of the bunk. But what we did is we took and put another screw through the cabinet right here. So this is even more structurally sound than the original bunk is. And you know, especially because of this ladder, what we did all the way around, we're actually quite pleased with the work. We'll have to say it was more difficult than we thought. It did take us a lot longer than we thought it would. But you know, when my wife and I are working on projects, that's just the way it is. We always take longer than what it seems like it should take. So next, I think we're going to go ahead and take these ladders. You know, they've been up here for a couple years, just like as they were. They're working just fine. But I think because we want it to look nice, I think we're going to take them off and stain them. You know, maybe we can get around to that, doing that. But here's the bunk. Yeah, I've actually got some, you know, lay down in it, and I showed you what it looked like. And there's plenty of room for, plenty of light. If it was dark in here, we would really be able to show you how much light actually gets down there. So she's not going to be in like a little dark hole. She's not going to fall out of the bed and hurt herself. We've already had one kid roll out the top bunk. Funny enough, it was on this side. She was sleeping on this side. She fell off the top bunk and actually broke her wrist falling off.
So which is the reason why we made the guards for the ladder.
That's the reason why we actually made the whole ladder system. Was
what's this for?
So they could get up in there safely, and they wouldn't roll out of the top bunk. You know, so they have something to go against. But you know, down here, she's not going to fall out the bed. She's not going to hurt herself. She's not going to get stepped on. She's not going to be laying out there in the kitchen. She's, you know, so, and then there's the jealousy factor. You know, the kids, you know, she's laying out there technically with the adults, and all the other kids have to be stuck back here in a little cubby hole. And now, when it's bedtime for everybody. And they come back in the bunkhouse, and hopefully go to sleep while the adults do adulting. Anyway, so I think that's it. You know, like I said, the project was a little harder than what we thought it was going to be. But to me, it was, you know, again, another opportunity to work with my wife. I always love doing that, especially on these types of projects. And if you ever want to attempt this, you know, like this if you like it. Make comments whether you like it or not. Ideas, if you've got any ideas that could have made it better, not like we're going to tear it out or anything, but you know, if you have an idea that could have made it better, or another idea, share it down in the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. Until next time.